Hi folks, it's me Michaela and welcome back to my channel. I have not filmed a video in like 3.5 weeks because everything I posted over the holidays I filmed in the span of like 2 days, which you wouldn't know because I secretly planned to change my hair and my shirt in every single video, so you wouldn't know. But now that it's the new year, I might as well reveal my secrets that I was just a crazy person who changed my shirt to fake my reality all of December. But we are back in 2025. It is January and it is time to do my December reading wrap up. I am sorry if it is very dark, but it is like very snow day today. I can barely see across the road, yet alone the sun. We're making do with what we have, and also like, it just feels fitting because like my whole life is a disaster at the moment. I was away for like 3 weeks and I just got back and I'm back to working full time, except I'm working remotely because it's so freezing and the heating at the office is only like half working and I'm not freezing to death to write an email. Okay, it's not happening to me. I still have to de-decorate for Christmas, and I also need to drink like 7 gallons of water a day because between traveling and then how freezing cold it is outside, my lips are falling off of my face. So, like it only feels right that I'm here to do my reading wrap up in near darkness, or at least so it feels. Whenever I say it feels really dark, once I like edit the video, it looks literally fine. However, it does feel very dark at the moment. Just know my reality is darker than probably what you're seeing right now. Anyway, December reading wrap up. Last wrap up of 2024. How was my reading in December? Did I reach my 60 book Goodreads and Storygraph goal in 2024? I'm sure you're all dying to know because you're all, just following me with bated breath, wondering all of my reading moves. I will save you the suspense. I did it. I read exactly 60 books in December. No, not in December. I read exactly 60 books in 2024. I read 6 books in December. I just reached that goal. I'm glad I did it. I made it happen. Let's talk about the last few books that made it happen. We'll start, obviously, as always, with some of my general monthly stats for my books, and then we'll talk about the books themselves. Okay. So in December, like I said, I read a total of 6 books, which was a total of 1,949 pages, which averages to about 325 pages per book and 63 pages a day in December. And my average star rating was 3.8. I read 3 romance books, 2 literary books, and 1 classic novel. I had 4 of them that were physical reads that I owned, and 2 were digital reads that I loaned. And all of these books were new to me. I did not have any rereads in December. Really just rattled that off as fast as possible, didn't I? The first book that I read in December was Emma by Jane Austen. This was one of the books I read in my episode 3 of reading books I was supposed to read last year. Now that it is 2025, I can no longer make reading books I was supposed to read last year for my 23 books in 2023 list, but I think I'll probably continue the little vlog series on in 2025 as catching up on my 24 books in 2024 that I haven't read yet, which I will be filming kind of like how did I do with that one very soon. I feel like the general vibe is like not amazing, but I think better than the 23 books in 2023. I'll have a closer look at it when I do that video, so stay tuned for that like next week, I guess. But I did read Emma for the 3rd episode of that vlog series, I guess. And I did really like Emma. I ended up giving it 4 stars. Solid book. I do like Jane Austen. I read Pride and Prejudice many years ago now, so I don't remember too much about it, but I do remember that I really liked it. Jane Austen has like this way of like writing that just kind of like forgoes time period, like it doesn't matter that it's a classic, it still feels relatable. I did find the middle of the book kind of like a bit slow, but I really enjoyed the first part and the 3rd part. But I feel like that's kind of any book. I feel like most books slow down a little bit in the middle. But Emma is like a very fun character. She is annoying. I'm gonna give you that. She's annoying, but there's something about her that's just so endearing and I love it. So I did really have a great time reading Emma, and I'll link that video for you if you want to watch it. Go check it out. The second book I read in December, I also read for a reading vlog, which was a Christmas romance reading vlog, and that was Lovelight Farms by B.K. Borison. This is the first in the Lovelight Farm series. No, just Lovelight. Is the series just called Lovelight, or is it Lovelight Farms? Anyway, I read this. Also gave this 4 stars. This is going to be like a general theme for December, is like the 4-star vibes. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love giving a 4-star, as we know. I did really like this book. I found it kind of gave me all of the vibes I was wanting from it for, you know, being a Christmas rom-com. You know, I wanted cheesy. I wanted Hallmark movie. I wanted Christmas. It gave me all of that. My main issue is that the third act conflict stems from the fact that one of the main characters just doesn't believe the reality around them, and it got really annoying because here they would be, you know, listening to things people were telling them, and then like the next scene their thoughts were like literally the opposite than what people are literally telling them. I was like, no thank you, this is annoying. But you know, like, other than that, everything else about it, super fun. I really like the characters, you know, other than that one flaw in the main character. And I do kind of like the possible setups they have for further books in the series, and I do plan on, like, continuing the series, so I will be doing that. Though, it is, like, kind of funny, because I think the rest of the books are not Christmassy. I don't know, I always find, like, Christmas romances that are part of a series, whereas non-Christmas romances are weird, because then it's like, do you read a Christmas book when it's not Christmas? Like, do you ever read a novel that's based around Christmas during a period of, like, your life when it's not Christmas? Because that always feels weird to me. But then sometimes you're following books where there's scenes where it's Christmas, because obviously time passes, but, like, that doesn't feel weird. I feel like I'm just thinking about this too much, so I'm just gonna stop thinking. Yeah, I'm just going to stop thinking. Next up, we have another 4-star read, and that was The Frontrunner by Elsie Silver. This is the 3rd book in Gold Rush Ranch, and I did really like this as well. I think this is as well as Enemies to Lovers can work in contemporary romance, because instead of being enemies to lovers, because, like, nobody in your general life, like, you don't have an enemy. Okay, like, that's, like, not a real life thing. But this is, like, kind of, instead, it's, like, somebody who everybody else dislikes that you then get to know the other side of, kind of thing. So, like, in that way, it kind of gives enemies to lovers, but it's not really, like, enemy. I'm really not explaining this well because I don't want to, like, say much about books. Me reviews books, also me, doesn't tell you anything about books. It's also not even like Grumpy Sunshine in a way, because sometimes Grumpy Sunshine is too much. It's like slight Grumpy Sunshine. Like, he is a little grumpy, but he's not that grumpy. And she is a little sunshiny, but she's not very sunshiny at all, you know? Like, it's just like a sprinkle of that vibe on top of the sprinkle of enemies to lovers. But great characters, really like the story. I feel like the way it also kind of expanded the relationships of people outside of the main couple as well was really nice. So I'm really excited to just read the 4th book in Gold Rush Ranch, and then my plan is to start a reread of Chestnut Springs up until the 3rd book, where then I will be reading brand new again the 4th and 5th book, because I haven't read the 4th and 5th book of Chestnut Springs. That's the plan for 2025. Oh, this is cute. They're both green. So my next read was Malibu. Floppy. Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave this 4.5 stars. I was actually writing my stats for this, and I had given this book 4 stars. And then I realized when I thought about it in the context of the other books I read in December that this one was really actually more of a 4.5 for me. So I changed it because I can do that. But I love Taylor Jenkins Reid writing. This is in, like, the same universe as Daisy Jones and the Six and the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And I loved that aspect of it because, you know, like, of the Easter eggs, it's just really fun to, like, see a name here or there and, like, recognize it from the other books you've read. I also really like this story, and I like their characters. I know nothing about surfing, but I still had a really fun time with this. I really like that, similar to 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, it kind of goes through the, like, backstory and then switches to, like, a present day thing. But it's not an interview. It's more like there's the storyline of, like, a singular day, and interspersed between that is the backstory of the characters and their family and the, like, relations and, like, how we got to where we are, kind of thing. And it's just, like, done absolutely amazing. And similar to any other Taylor Jenkins Reid, you know, like, you're gonna read this and forget that these aren't real people. You read Taylor Jenkins Reid books and you forget that the famous people in them are not real famous people. That's just, like, how it is. That's the reality I've just accepted now. I will say the only reason I gave it a 4.5 instead of a 5-star is just because it wasn't my favorite of the 3 I've read. I loved Daisy Jones and the Six, and I loved 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This one I could put it down. Like, I was loving it, but if you're like, oh, Michaela, we're going to go do something, like, I could put it down. And that is why it wasn't a 5-star. Because with the other books, like, if somebody was like, oh, we're going to go do this, I'd be like, no, I'm reading this book. Right? I think that should be my new parameter for, like, if something is a 5-star. Did I choose to do other activities other than read this book while reading this book? Maybe. I also don't like giving myself parameters. I like to rate things purely off of vibes. That's just, like, how I roll. So the 5th book that I read was I don't even know if it's a novella. It's 68 pages, so I feel like it's somewhere between short story and novella. But it's The Answer is No by Fredrik Backman. I gave this 4 stars as well. I gave it 4 stars mainly because it just kind of felt like too short of a story to like love it in a 5-star way, I guess. But it was really short. It was really sweet. I read it in one sitting. It was really funny. It made me want to eat pad thai. And I think that, like, Fredrik Backman is able to, in such a short story, make multiple characters that are, like, really unique, really interesting, and you really want to read more of. And that is what The Answer is No was. And I think if you have an hour to an hour and a half, I guess maybe is what it would take you to read it, depending on your reading speed. But if you have that, like, sit down, read The Answer is No, because I think it'll just, like, make you smile. And I think everybody needs that. So, like, I highly suggest reading it. Also, it's Fredrik Backman, my favorite author, so obviously I read it. And now here, the last book that I read this month, this is really the one that I struggled to rate, but I'm also excited to talk about. And that is Twisted Love by Huang. So this is the first book in the Twisted series, and I ended up settling on giving this a 2.5 star. Now listen, I could not give this more than a 2.5 because in my personal opinion, this is a bad book. The characters feel very one note. They don't have a huge amount of depth. And instead of having actual depth, the characters just have like extreme trauma backstories, which is just like a thing that saying I find it amusing in romance books is like not the right word, but it's just like something where like when I see it like happen a lot, and I'm just like, there's no way this many people have like look, everybody has their traumas, okay? And horrible things happen. I do get that. But like the fact that like it seems like everybody in a romance novels ever sometimes have like the most horrific, unbelievable backstories that they're like recovering from in their adulthood just seems like a little too unrealistic, you know? Like both of them have backstories like that and they just happen to meet each other. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being unrealistic and too optimistic about the world and people. But I also found the writing wasn't great. And the plot is what I would call unbelievably insane. That's what the plot is. The plot is unbelievably insane. However, I also could not give this book less than a 2.5 star because I couldn't stop reading it. Like, I found it so entertaining, but I did not find it entertaining for the reasons I think this author wanted me to find it entertaining. I found it entertaining because I thought it was so funny and ridiculous. And I was like, what the hell is going to happen next in this book? And then every time I finished reading a bit of it, I would go to my sister and I was like, girl, you're going to have to hear what I just read in this book because it's insane. That's the kind of book it is. So it was like so popcorn read that like I had a really difficult time, rating it because I was like, God, it was so bad, but also it was so much fun, So it's like, how do you rate books like that? I don't know. So I settled on a 2.5 because that's just 100% middle of the road. That's what I'm going to do. Because like, was this book so bad? Yes. Do I want to read the next book in the series? Also, yes. So yeah, that was like how I finished my December. That was the last book I read of 2024. Interesting to say the least. Have this cute little like blue and green vibe going on for the month. Totally unplanned, kind of cute. If you did like this video, make sure to give it a like, give it a little thumbs up. If you happen to like me, consider subscribing. I'd be happy to have you. Do let me know down below, how do you rate books when they're bad but you love them? Do you do similar to me? Like, do you just have to find the middle ground of it? Do you rate it really good anyway, even though it was bad? Do you just rate it bad because it was bad even though you had a good time? These are the questions I have. I wonder what, like your approach to that situation would be. Let me know. And with that, I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.